everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Crime and Coffee Couple. My name's Allison.
And I'm Mike.
And it's good to have you back.
Sure is, yeah. We'll keep on increasing these listeners, so somebody likes some things they're hearing out there, and we appreciate it.
And some people don't like us because we got our first not so good negative review.
Yeah. So that, you know what, you can take it as you may, and that just means more people are listening, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, more people listening is good. So, yeah, I think the guy was from Texas. He didn't like some things that I was joking about with Texas, which I get. And, no hard feelings for anybody living anywhere. We're all inclusive.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah, exactly.
We make fun of ourselves, too. But apparently I talk in a very nasally voice.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if anybody's nasally, it's me. Thank you very much.
It's one of those things. What am I going to do? Go have surgery or something on my vocal cords?
It's worth a shot.
I am who I am.
Yeah. So if you do like what you're listening, then please go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and get rid of those bad reviews if you could. Just one so far right now, but we'll get more, and we embrace them. So whatever. Yeah. Everybody's got their thoughts.
I actually handled it pretty well. I was like, well, I can't make everybody happy.
Well, he did end with F you, Mike. So it was directed mostly towards me, to be honest, which was okay.
That was actually pretty funny. I got a bit of a chuckle out of that.
It was. Check it out. It's on our Apple reviews, so you can go look at it. I think it's the second one in there, so go check it out. It's good for a laugh.
Good times.
Yeah.
So what else is going on with you?
I am in a festive mood. If I get this YouTube video up, you'll see I'm wearing like a... when I do.
When?
The last week's one isn't up yet, so...
What the F?
Yeah. So things are a little discombobulated, but I'm in a good mood because I've got a little vacation coming up for myself, going to my brother's bachelor party in Las Vegas, and I'm kind of in a festive mood, and hopefully I survive.
I am not in a festive mood because I'm going back to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm working tomorrow, but once I take off and get everything going, and it's Vegas time, baby.
It's Vegas time. Actually, I'm not jealous of you at all because that trip to me sounds like my personal hell.
Yeah, well, we've kind of started drinking a lot less in the past year.
Yeah, I'm really not into alcohol so much these days. I'll enjoy my occasional glass of wine on vacation or something.
Sure.
But certainly I told Mike I want it to be my goal to never have another hangover again.
Right. And that's quite a goal because we do, have these opportunities to drink every so often with, friends and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're not against it, just a little bit less.
And I don't judge what anybody else is doing. I'm just talking about my own health and happiness because what I have found is that alcohol it brings me a lot of anxiety, and I'm always been an anxious person, but I find that I can control it very well unless I'm hungover, and then I'm spiraling, and it's just not a good situation.
Well, then you ask yourself, why am I doing this to myself?
I'm doing this to myself. It's like
it's my choice.
Again, it's like the whole thing of this is the definition of insanity.
Doing the same thing
and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
So, I've just, over the past year, less than a year, I've just been focusing on trying to be healthier, not only physically, but mentally. And
you've lost 30-something pounds?
32 pounds.
We always say when we were looking at old pictures, it looks like you were just kind of zoomed in. Like your face was fatter and your body was fatter. Not that there's
just a little bit wider.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And it was weird. It's almost like you didn't look like... It was weird how it happened. You don't look like, you look like you're basically the same person, just brought in more, which is interesting.
And I just wasn't in a good place mentally. So I'm just so happy that I've made the steps to being just a better me, a better version of me.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have a weekend of debauchery, and I get why you don't look forward to that. And also, we're eating better, so I'm going to probably... I really don't eat a lot of meat anymore, so steaks.
You can continue that.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to getting an In-N-Out burger, but I don't really even want the burger. It's weird.
Well, just do you, Mike. Let everybody else do their thing.
Of course.
That's the beauty of being an adult. We can make our own decisions.
Yeah, absolutely, and I look forward to that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be off the grid for about 4 days, so it should be interesting. And I'll call you once, I think.
You'll be like, Allison.
Well, what's nice is you get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to work, so I can call you when I'm coming in from the night.
That's pretty true.
Yeah, it's 3 hours difference.
That actually has happened before when you've been in Vegas.
Yeah,
I've been working at the kitchen table and you're coming in for the night, which again it's like my personal hell. What was that meme you sent me? Something about cocaine.
Somebody on Twitter was like, you're gonna invite me to go out to dinner at 9 o'clock at night. Excuse me, I'm not exactly on cocaine like you are, or something like that.
Well, because my bedtime is right around 8:30ish on a work night, so even on we were away for a few days as a family for spring break, and you and I were in bed at 9:30 at night.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. We had a great day.
Yeah, because we were up early taking walks and in the fresh air.
And I like to get 8 hours of sleep, So if I can get to sleep at a decent time, then I get my 7 or 8 hours, and it's like, okay, well, let's do whatever we want all day long.
Yeah, I like to be active and happy and healthy.
Thank God I have you. Otherwise, I would not be active or happy, probably.
At 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, Mike, you ready for a walk?
I'd be drunk in a gutter. That's probably what I do.
Well, you will be this weekend.
And
so.
like, sure, some of those mornings, I'm like, oh God, just if I don't answer her, then maybe she'll go away.
Maybe she'll just disappear.
And sometimes it works. Guys, sometimes it works. So just don't answer them. Pretend you can't hear them.
Oh God, are you kidding me? You never get away with that.
So this townhouse we just rented, there was 2 flights of stairs. So you would go downstairs and I wouldn't have to hear from you.
Yeah, you like that division.
It was kind of nice.
You're like, let's move. Let's get a 3-story house. We'll put you on the first floor
Right.
and me on the third.
I think it'd be good for everybody.
It's like I don't exist.
Right.
So I guess we'll go ahead and just jump right in if you're ready, unless you have any other
I'm ready.
things to chat about.
No, thank you.
So this is the story of the murder of Rayna Rison. So Rayna Rison was born...
Sorry, I need to spell it. Raina?
Rayna.
I'm always curious.
Rayna.
Okay.
She was born on May 6, 1976 to Ben and Karen Rison in LaPorte County, Indiana. So in 1993, Rayna was 16 years old. She was a sophomore at LaPorte High School.
Real quick, the bicentennial, 1976.
Oh, okay.
1776, 1976,
Okay.
200 years. Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
Okay, sorry. She was born to who?
Her parents were Ben and Karen.
Okay.
So we're moving along to 1993. She is 16 years old, and she's a sophomore at LaPorte High School. Just to give you an idea, LaPorte, Indiana is a small, normally very low-key, quiet town without a lot of crime. It sits about 70 miles southeast of Chicago.
And to date ourselves, we were born in 79, so we're pretty close.
Yeah, we were -3 when she was born.
Mm-hmm.
So when this all happens, again, it's 1993.
In LaPorte, I've heard of it. We grew up near Chicago, so...
Yeah,
LaPorte,
I had never heard of it. Oh. But so Rayna was a star student. She got good grades. She played multiple instruments in the school band, so very musically gifted as well. She was not only hardworking at school, but also in her personal life. Just one of those kids that just has her head on straight. Probably her parents never have to worry about is she doing her homework, that sort of thing. Kind of like I was kind of a goody two shoes.
Yeah, and your parents could always ask you for anything to do around the house because they know you would do it, number one, and that you would, just be responsible enough to do it.
I don't think my parents ever once said, Allison, do you have homework? Do you never. Right. I just got it done.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how she sounds.
Hey, to be fair, I'm also in that boat. My parents never asked about my homework, and I got it done somehow.
You did.
No, I didn't do it at home or anything. I did it right before class, but I did get it done.
When I met you, though, I kind of made you do some more homework.
You did.
Like,
you taught me writing and such.
Wait, you have a paper due tomorrow?
I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out before class.
I was like panicking for you. Yeah. Very much kind of how we are now.
What's nice, you introduced anxiety to my life, which I appreciate so much.
I'm anxious enough for the both of us.
Yeah.
So she held 3 part-time jobs.
Wow.
She was a go-getter, as well as volunteering at a local animal hospital where she would clean kennels and walk dogs. Mm-hmm. She was an animal lover, and basically her goal was become a veterinarian. So on Friday, March 26, 1993, Rayna headed to work at the Pine Lake Animal Hospital, which it sounds to me when I say work, it was a volunteer job, not getting compensated for it.
But a good way to increase your resume and visibility and get to know people if you want to be a veterinarian.
And she probably just enjoyed it.
Right.
When you love pets and you want to be helpful to them. So she was going to be there for a short shift. It was only from 4 to 6 p.m. that she was scheduled. So she planned to go on a date afterwards with her ex-boyfriend, Matt Elser. The two had recently split up, but they were working on rekindling the relationship. And ultimately, I think they had just planned on getting back together. So they were going to go on a date after her shift. Matt was also a sophomore at LaPorte High School with Rayna. So when Matt got to the animal hospital to pick Rayna up, she wasn't there. The animal hospital looked visibly closed. The lights were turned out. Her car wasn't in the parking lot either. From there, Matt headed to Rayna's house thinking, maybe they got their plans mixed. There was some miscommunication, something like that. So she headed to her house. Her dad, Ben, said she wasn't there either. So immediately the family knew that something was off because we say this in so many of the stories that we cover. Your kid, when a kid is responsible, they say where they're going to be there.
Yeah, a lot of red flags.
Yeah, so
immediately, like you were mentioning yourself, if you didn't show up for something, your parents would be like, that's not like Allison. Like, right. This is, Rayna sounds similar, where if she says she's going to be somewhere, she will be.
Yeah. So their alarm bells, even though it's only 6 p.m. at this point in time, they're nervous. Something's going on. So Rayna was not the type of teenager, like I said, that she wouldn't be where she said she was going to be. By 10:30 p.m. that night, the family's worry obviously continued to grow. So they went to the police station where they were told they had to wait 24 hours to file a missing persons claim. Now, is that the case in 2022? I don't know. But the whole idea that we would wait to start an investigation is bonkers to me, because as time ticks by, the window closes. If somebody kidnaps a person, they're only getting mileage between them and you.
Yeah, and like kind of like solving any crime, the best chance is within 48 hours. And then after that, your chances go way down. So I've heard from many like Twitter people just different people that have looked into things that's complete horseshit, that's not real. But I mean, down to municipalities, I mean, there's got to be some truth behind it. But still, I mean, I get that people, we actually know a police officer somewhere in Illinois, and he said that most times a missing person is called, they're found like in the person's house within a couple hours.
Right. So. And that is the case. The percentages are definitely on the side that this person is unharmed and will return, but there's a side that they will never return.
Right.
So to me, just jump the gun and just do it.
Right.
Again,
better safe than sorry.
This is 1993. Is that the case now? I don't know. I could have researched that. I didn't. I apologize.
No, you did fine.
So in the meantime, the family wasn't going to just sit there and wait, as I wouldn't either. So Rayna's younger sister, Wendy, contacted all of her friends. None of them had heard from her or seen from her. Rayna's older sister, Lori, also hadn't heard from her. Flyers were placed around town, and then the police eventually got involved. They made a public appeal for any information leading to Rayna's whereabouts. So with this, multiple witnesses did come forward to report that they had seen Rayna with two men in a sedan outside of the animal hospital. It appeared that they were potentially arguing with her. So that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Matt was questioned first, of course. He put himself there. He was the one that discovered she wasn't there.
And as soon as you mention like a significant other, it's like, okay, does this guy have anything to do with it?
Sure. So that was reasonable. He was described as straight-laced and a parent-approving young man. So basically somebody that you'd be relieved if your daughter was dating this gentleman.
Right.
So Rayna's family trusted him, and they did not consider him to be a suspect. Police had no reason to doubt the story that he told them. So the following day, Rayna's car was found 9 miles from the hospital on County Road 200 East. The car's hood had been popped, which led investigators to believe that she stopped because she had car trouble.
Sure.
However, the key was still sitting in the ignition, and the car started with absolutely no problem. So then they began to think, okay, whoever put the car here probably tried to stage it as if there was car trouble.
Or like
why did they pop the hood?
Because you can overheat it and then let it cool down, and then it's fine to start later.
Potentially.
Yeah.
So inside the car sat Rayna's purse and as well as a man's ring. So Matt was able to identify the ring quickly as belonging to Jason Tibbs, who was Rayna's ex-boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
Now, this is kind of a long time ago. They had dated for 6 months while they were both in 7th grade.
Jeez.
Which is very young. Because again, our son is in 7th grade, and I can't fathom him having a girlfriend right now.
He doesn't have interest in either sex of any sort.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, our son is he's the best.
Although I did see a TikTok of a scantily clad young lady as I was walking by him. So, just keep that in mind.
Okay.
We'll see.
Well, kids will hide more than, than we know. So, but regardless, I can't imagine him being in a relationship in 7th grade. Mm-hmm. So shortly after their breakup, Rayna began dating Matt, who of course she was rekindling her relationship with at this point in time. So when police questioned Jason, he said that he had done some work on her car recently. He had taken his ring off when he was doing the work in the car and just forgotten to put it back on. Mm-hmm. That's what he told the police. So in terms of his alibi, he said he was playing a game of fox hunting. Is that anything you've ever heard of?
Like a real life game of fox hunting?
it's not what it sounds like.
Okay.
He wasn't out hunting fox.
Oh, like looking for chicks?
No.
Oh.
So what it is, and I had never heard of it either. Obviously, this isn't far from where we grew up, but I've never heard of this. On the evening in question, he said he was fox hunting. So what fox hunting is, it's apparently a game of hide and seek that's played in cars where friends give clues over the CB radio and the seeker tries to find them based on their clues.
Well, we never had CB radios. So
well, that's true too.
Yeah. So if that, it would have helped quite a bit.
Actually, I did have a CB radio.
Yeah, but it wasn't yours.
Up.
It was your mom and dad's.
Yeah.
And your friends didn't have CB radios.
You didn't have a CB radio?
Like every kid that's a kid should have a CB radio.
So yeah, but anyway, it's kind of sounds a little bit fun.
Yeah, sounds fun.
So friends confirmed that yes, Jason had been playing fox hunting with them that evening, but no one actually saw them because you're not truly together when you're fox hunting.
You're trying not to be seen.
Exactly. And everyone's in different areas, but he was heard over the CB as playing fox hunting.
Decent alibi.
Yeah, decent, but not great.
Right.
So America's Most Wanted aired a segment on Rayna, and from this, police received a tip that led them to Fail Road, where they found a Letterman's jacket about 7 miles from where Rayna's car was found. The jacket belonged to Matt, who had given it to Rayna.
Okay.
So it was definitely linked to her.
Her current boyfriend that had given it to Rayna. Okay.
Yep. So it was in her possession when she disappeared. So the case gained little progress, but exactly 1 month later, on April 26, 1993, a man was fishing with his teenage daughter at a local pond just off Range Road, north of US 20 in LaPorte County. The teenage girl that was fishing with her dad, she got bored, so she decided to kind of go off and explore the area around the pond. So while she was walking, she found a girl's body with her clothes on floating in a pond with 2 logs across her back.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks really bad.
Imagine finding that too.
No, you'd probably be scarred for life. It's
Yeah.
something you could never close your eyes and forget the sight of again.
Right. Yeah. It's not something you expected that day while you're out fishing.
Out fishing with your dad. So her father called the police, and when detectives arrived, they found that the clothing matched what Rayna was wearing when she disappeared. So very soon it was confirmed that it actually was Rayna. So an autopsy was done, and her body had no injuries, and the cause of death was ruled to be asphyxiation.
Wow, incredible.
Asphyxiation.
Yeah, strangling.
Easy for me to say.
No, I get it.
So the case was ruled a homicide.
Okay.
So investigators got a tip to look into Rayna's brother-in-law. And as I tell you this part of the story, it is so messed up and disgusting and twisted. It's just, you'll hear.
So Lori's husband?
Yes, her older sister, Lori, my apologies. So it was her brother-in-law that they got a tip on. So his name is Ray McCarty. They soon discovered that when Rayna was only 11 years old, Ray began to molest her.
Ah, jeez, what a piece of shit.
And 2 years later, he actually got her pregnant.
Oh, no, really?
Yes, really.
This girl that has like everything, doing, that's so sad. I mean, anybody, whether it's a girl that has her life together or not, any kind of girl, boy, whatever, and molestation and assault is just like so disgusting.
Right. To somebody that you should be trusting. It's your brother-in-law. It's like a family member.
And that's why, you know what? Watch every single relationship in your family. And it sucks that men are looked at, as a man. I always feel weird if I'm like by myself at the park or something, like if I used to go get lunch and like look out at a lake and like, there might be a playground behind me. It's like, if I'm a mother right now, I'm like looking at me.
Well, because you don't have a child there.
Right.
Like,
and
hey, creep, what are you doing sitting here?
Yeah. And men, usually we're looked at. Like if you're with your daughter and your daughter's freaking out and like, just pitching a bitch or whatever it might be, having a fit, like some people are like, oh, is this guy's taking her? Whereas if it was a woman and you have a little girl with you, they're like, oh, that's the mom. And like,
right.
It's different for a man and it's hard, but it's also for things like this. Like if you're in a family and, you're at a big family party and you see a guy, and I used to play a lot with my cousins and stuff, when I was older. So it's like, I can see, being looked at more because you gotta be careful because men have a very big sexual drive, very big. And there's people that are attracted to younger folks for whatever reason. And
for whatever
it's horrible.
Sickness is happening inside of
them.
them.
They can't control it, and it's disgusting, but it's something you got to watch out for.
Yeah, it's sick. So Rayna ended up getting an abortion, and Ray was convicted of child molestation. He received a 3-year suspended sentence in 1991. His probation had ended January 5th, 1993, just 2 months before Rayna was murdered. So when he was questioned, he claimed that he never saw her that evening.
And also, he's still married to the sister, Lori?
From what I can understand, yes.
I mean, fuck you, Lori. You
what the hell? And I can't confirm that 100%.
Okay, Lori, if you broke up with them after that, then good job. If you didn't, then you need to get your head checked. I mean, this is ridiculous and disgusting.
Yeah, so I don't know if they split, but I mean, can you fathom it?
I mean, two things. One, he, sexually assaulted your sister and impregnated her, which it doesn't matter whether you impregnated her or not. And then secondly, he's attracted to little girls. He's not attracted to you. You're a beard, basically. That's
terribly scary.
It's disgusting.
So he said he never saw her that evening, but then he quickly changed his story. He said that around 5:40 p.m. on March 26, 1993, he was looking for a house for sale on Warren Street, which was only a block away from the animal shelter, animal hospital. And that he found Rayna sweeping and mopping the foyer of the hospital and asked her where Lori was. He said that she told him she did not know where she was, and he left. He said that he initially denied that he saw her that day because after he left the hospital, he picked up a female hitchhiker, saying that Lori was still untrustworthy of him after he molested her sister.
Oh, how dare she be untrustworthy of this guy that raped her, basically.
And basically, I followed this up in my notes with what in the actual hell?
Yeah.
She's untrustworthy? Dude, you're a friggin' child molester.
Not to mention, he should have like a restraining order, whatever. I don't know what the situation was. I'm sure there probably was, but
the fact that he could approach her and talk to her.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Right.
How dare you set foot in the place where I'm working and ask me where my friggin' sister is?
I mean, as the father of this, of Rayna, I'd have a hard time not murdering this guy.
Oh, I can't wrap my head around it.
We shouldn't bring things into our own hands, and take somebody's life, but it'd be really hard not to.
Yes, it would be very hard. So Ray was definitely a person of interest, but they had no solid evidence to link him to her murder. Yes, he had seen her. Yes, he had talked to her, but there was nothing showing that he had actually done anything to her. So the case at this point is gone cold. So a year and a half later, Indiana police pulled over a van driven by Larry Hall. In this van, they found newspaper clippings about Rayna, as well as a prescription bottle labeled for R. Rison. Larry claimed that he had abducted and murdered Rayna, but police soon discovered that he was actually in Kentucky at the time of her death. Who in the hell tries to pretend they were part of a murder when they weren't?
So he wasn't part of it?
No, he was in Kentucky.
Shit. Wow.
So
that is crazy.
The prescription bottle.
I thought we were at the end of this story, basically. Like, he's the one that did it, and then we find out how it happened.
No.
Oh, my God.
The prescription bottle was said to be fake, so he made it with her initials on there.
What a psycho.
What a nut.
Oh, my God.
So I said in here, why are people so messed up? I mean, really? Go get a friggin' hobby. Fish.
I mean, maybe he's missing jail or something.
Well,
wants to get back in.
You'll see more about him. So he was ruled out as a suspect in Rayna's case, though later sentenced to life in prison for the murder of 15-year-old Jessica Roach from Georgetown, Illinois in 1993.
Was this the hitchhiker he picked up?
No, that was the brother-in-law that picked up the hitchhiker. This is a totally different guy.
Okay.
So the other thing is that it's possible that he had killed 30 to 40 women, including the Springfield 3, which I think I'd heard of this case. It's 3 missing women in 1992 from Springfield, Missouri.
And that just got solved recently, right?
I'm not entirely sure.
Now it did, because he did.
Well, I'm not entirely sure how that case goes, but I think I might cover it soon.
So I did the Fort Worth trio last week, and you can listen to that one. And there's the reason people think that could still be solved is because another missing person thing got solved. I think that's it.
Okay, so I think I'm going to cover that case.
Yeah.
And then Tammy Zwicky, who was last seen in 1992 on the side of the road by her car in Central Illinois. He was also linked to that. So he's definitely a monster, but not Rayna's monster.
Okay.
So 5 years later, in 1998, detectives revisited the case and looked at all the suspects. So again, Matt Elser, the guy, that she was dating and rekindling the relationship with, his story remained unchanged. Police continued to believe his innocence. So again, he's quickly ruled out. So then they look at Jason Tibbs again, who was doing the fox hunting, had left his ring in Rayna's car, who was apparently fixing her car.
He was the one she dated when they were in like 7th grade.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. His story again was unreliable because he was never seen by those that he was supposedly playing with.
Okay.
When looking at the brother-in-law, Ray McCarty, police obtained a search warrant and searched his property. They found blood in his car, which I'm not quite sure why they didn't get a search warrant to begin with, because not only had he been somebody that was abusing her in the past, he saw her the evening that she went missing.
Yeah.
But they didn't get a search warrant until 5 years later.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely sure about why.
Okay.
So when they did get the search warrant, they found blood in his car and 2 handguns and a stun gun in his home. He was arrested and charged with Rayna's murder in May of 1998. While Ray was in jail, the state had appointed a new prosecutor, Robert Beckman, who felt that there wasn't enough evidence to take the case to trial. Because Ray was a hunter, they deduced that the blood could potentially have been from an animal.
Sure. I mean, just because you have blood, just because you have guns, doesn't mean you killed somebody.
Exactly.
I get that.
Detectives were never able to determine where the blood came from.
Okay.
Was it animal? Was it human? They don't know.
You would think a DNA test would solve that, but maybe that's too early on.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. Or maybe it was just washed too much or something.
Perhaps. Because it was 5 years that had elapsed.
Yeah.
So Ray was released in August of 1999, and the case again turned cold. So now we're moving on to exactly 15 years later. March of 2008, a man named Ricky Hammonds came forward with more information. Ricky was in prison at the time, serving a 45-year sentence for killing 25-year-old Daniel Cassidy, who was shot 9 times outside LaPorte in 1999. So at the time of Rayna's death, he was 14. And he said he saw Jason Tibbs and his friend Eric Freeman pull up to his family's barn in his sister's car.
Wow.
At the time, Eric was dating Ricky's sister, so that's why he would have had the car. So keep in mind that an eyewitness came forward during the case to say that they had seen 2 men in a sedan talking and looked like they were arguing with Rayna outside of the animal hospital. This makes more sense because it's 2 men. Mm-hmm. So it's Eric and Jason. So Ricky said he saw a body in the trunk of the car that had been covered with a blanket, its face exposed. When he saw Rayna's case on the news, he was able to identify that this is the body he saw in the car or in the trunk.
Wow.
He said he didn't come forward at the time because he had been smoking marijuana in the barn and didn't want to get into trouble. So he stayed quiet until he was already imprisoned 15 years later.
Ah, wow. So he was like thinking, man, I want to tell somebody, but I also don't want to get in trouble for this.
Yeah,
because they'd be like, why were you out there?
Exactly. He was 14 years old at the time. He didn't want to get in trouble.
Man.
So he kept quiet for 15 years.
For something
now
as
he's
stupid as
serving
marijuana.
a 45-year sentence. He's like, what do I have to lose?
That's way worse than marijuana.
You know, I'm convicted of shooting a man and killing him outside of LaPorte, so I've got nothing to lose at this point.
Right.
So that's what prompted him to come forward in 2008.
Okay, man.
So Eric was interviewed, though denied having anything to do with Rayna's murder. Now, fast forward 5 years later, now we're moving on to 2013.
Okay.
So this is 20 years after Rayna was murdered.
So Ricky came forward with his story in 2008.
Yes.
Now we're getting 2013.
Eric said, nope, didn't happen. Nothing to do with it.
Okay, got it. So that was like the missing link. Like police were like, well, if Eric says no, then we can't
We
do
have
anything?
nothing. We have nothing.
Because all we can do is say that Ricky may have seen something in a car.
Yes.
Okay.
And maybe he did, maybe he didn't.
Right.
So nothing happens in 2008.
Okay.
Now we're moving on to 2013, and this is 20 years after Rayna was murdered. So the police come to Eric. They say, please just give us your testimony. We will give you immunity. You will have nothing done to you if you come and give us your story. So Eric comes forward. He says he and Jason had gone to see Rayna at 6 p.m. as her shift ended at the animal hospital. He said that Jason wanted to convince her to get back together with him, but she absolutely refused. At this point, Jason felt that if he couldn't have her, no one could. He knocked her to the ground and later strangled her to death.
Jesus Christ, man. That's insane.
Insane.
How many pieces of shit is this family hanging out with?
And he, I believe, is Rayna's age, so he was only a teenager.
Right.
He was a 16-year-old.
Talk about some demons in this kid.
Right?
And not to mention you had a little relationship in the 7th grade.
It's like, dude, move on.
As a teenager, that's like part of your life, a big part of your life. But
yeah, but you don't go ahead and murder somebody over it.
Yeah, I mean, generally, don't murder anybody over anything.
And then, so Eric said they then drove to the Hammonds barn, not realizing that Ricky was hiding inside. So they're thinking they're out there by themselves and did not have anyone watching them, but lo and behold, they did. They then dumped her body in the pond where she had been found. Obviously, Jason had been a person of interest early in the case, hence finding her ring. Like right from the get-go, his ring was in her car when it was found.
Yeah, it's not like as soon as you say that, you're like, you just left it there and then nobody ever found it.
And is it possible that he was working on her car and took it off? Of course it was.
Yeah.
But she was murdered and your ring is sitting there in her car.
But also, wouldn't he recognize that his ring's gone? I mean, just in the heat
possibly,
of everything.
but who knows where it could have fallen off.
Yeah.
It could have fallen off anywhere.
Right.
So they also found letters in her room from Jason to Rayna saying he would go to almost any extreme to be her boyfriend again. It's like, ooh, stalker at the ripe old age of 16 years old. So trial began in October of 2014 and ended 1 month later. During the trial, the defense tried to focus their attention back to Ray McCarty as Rayna's killer because one time he had actually threatened to kill Rayna.
Sure.
If she told anyone about his sexual abuse. The jury didn't believe the defense's theory and found Jason guilty.
It's crazy that this girl could have had two people
right?
definitely murder her.
Yes.
Like, this guy Ray is a huge piece of shit and definitely deserves some even worse than what he's got in jail. And then Jason kind of comes out of nowhere as a person because you would think it would be Ray, the molester and everything.
Right, because he had just gotten released 2 months before that.
Very good timing. But that also shows you can't just say, just because
it's not always the obvious thing.
Right.
But I guess in this case it kind of is because the ring was sitting right there.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in December of 2014, Jason Tibbs at age 39 was arrested and charged with Rayna's murder and sentenced to 40 years in prison.
Jeez.
Which 40 years, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a lot to me for killing somebody.
Well, I mean, that's most of the rest of his life. So that's good. But at the same time, you get good behavior and then this and this.
He was a model prisoner.
Yeah, house arrest. We'll keep you on house arrest for 20. This guy really deserves nothing. I guess, he's 39 or 40 at that time.
He was 39 at the time that he was found guilty to serve 40 years in prison. Of course, he did this 20 years before.
Yeah.
So it looks like he was actually about 19 when he killed Rayna. She was 16, he was 19. But still. So because of Indiana's sentencing guidelines, inmates receive a day of freedom for every day served. So ultimately, boom, he's only going to serve 20 years.
There you go.
Which puts him out of prison before he's even 60 years old, which to me is insane. You murder somebody and you're out in 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the murder. You murder somebody and, there was some kind of a fight or whatever, then that probably goes under different rules and stuff. But in this situation, I mean, this is just, he felt that he was better and he needed to take her life because nobody else, deserved her life. That's a horrible, horrible murder. That's just...
And he was only 19 at the time. What could he be capable of at age 59?
I was wondering if he's killed anybody else or any other assaults or anything like that. You would think that there would be.
Right. It'd be very out of character to murder somebody and then have a crystal clear record in the meantime.
Right.
So during the trial, Rayna's family were able to tell Jason face to face about the pain and suffering they had endured. Her father showed a video of Rayna's life from birth to death, including baby pictures and home videos of Rayna opening her Christmas presents and getting ready for prom. Rayna's father said, "Hopefully now my family can find some semblance of peace from what we've been through for the last 20 years."
And they knew him pretty well, right?
Yeah, they would have known. And it's a small town.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a lot of people. So I'm sure they knew him.
So it was probably while Rayna was in 7th grade and he was in 10th or something like that?
Something like that, yes. So he would have been 3 years older.
So what a winner. Sophomore dating a freaking 7th grader?
Right? Which
Come on,
is
bud.
very creepy to me.
It's super creepy. So this girl's got sexual predators basically coming at her every direction.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
Poor thing.
Gosh.
So according to A&E, of the 285,000 cold cases in the U.S., just 1 in 5 will name a new suspect. Of those suspects, only 1 in 20 will be arrested, and just one of those in 100 will be charged and convicted. So not very good odds.
No, cold cases, once they go cold, is pretty slim.
Which is pretty amazing that this one was solved after 20 years.
And that's why it's important to have things like podcasts and news people to just bring things back up, because you never know, because a situation like Ricky, who he was in the slammer for a long time, and then he said, well, you know what? I'm finally ready to talk about this.
Exactly.
And it might be on their conscience. They might need to hear it one more time.
Right.
Or, if it's that one more time the story is told, or somebody they know, like, hey, this was told on a America's Most Wanted, or on a podcast I heard, or on a Facebook page, or TikTok. I saw a TikTok about this.
Right. The odds aren't good, but it happens.
Yeah.
So in February of 2018, Ray McCarty was arrested in New Carlisle on a preliminary charge of felony battery resulting in serious bodily injury. Of course, this is the disgusting brother-in-law. On February 25th, 2018, Ray committed suicide while in jail.
Hey, I mean,
we don't promote suicide, but it's a piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely not.
Streets.
Definitely do not promote suicide. I mean, there's help to be had. But in Ray's case, I am not super sad that he did it.
In September 2018, Jason Tibbs sought a new trial. Russell Brown and Scott King, attorneys handling the appeal, said that the defense made a mistake in not presenting the findings of FBI analysis of evidence during the 2014 trial. They claim that trace amounts of fibers were found in Rayna's hair and were consistent with the carpet from Ray's trunk. And again, they did find blood in his car. So
she's been in his trunk at some point?
Potentially.
Okay.
They claim that the trace amounts of fibers, like I said, were consistent with his car. But during the trial, Jason's lawyers didn't ask for court permission to present the FBI's results to the jury, saying that there were scheduling difficulties with the FBI agent involved in the analysis, coming to testify about the findings.
So you're telling me it's possible Ray still did this?
It is possible, because they said they also believe that Eric Freeman had been coached when giving his statement to the police.
Jesus, man. This is crazy.
They basically said, well, we made a mistake. So, it's one of those cases. Do they have the right guy?
That's insane. And you know how, like, when we've talked about this many times, how you can get a suspect in there and ask them enough questions, ask them enough times where they'll admit something, and you kind of like force them into it, basically. Like, they're so crazy that they're like admitting things that they didn't even do.
Right. They even say, like, you could go without sleep for so many hours that you actually start to believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
But then you'd have to say that Ricky lied about what he saw, because he said he saw Rayna's body in his sister's car, which was driven by Eric and Jason.
Well, Ricky probably saw something. All he's saying is that he saw something, and then I don't know how much I'd put into like him being able to identify it's the same body.
He said he saw a body in the car.
Yeah, and how can you say it's that person's or whatever? It could be like a sack of tires or something. I
don't know.
I mean, my first instinct would be to go to this Ray guy, but at the same time, this Jason as well, and he had those conversations that he can't have her. Unless Eric was like telling stories for some reason. I mean,
because Eric was given immunity, so no matter what he said, he wasn't going to get in trouble for it. But why
also,
would he do that to his friend?
Yeah, you're not going to throw him under the bus
unless they had bad blood between them for a reason we don't know.
Yeah, unless they found something for Eric, maybe something secondary, and they're like, we're going to give you immunity from everything. Not just this, but also this. And they connect them together. Be like, okay, you just stole this car. You're not going to be charged with it if you can get this guy in jail for us.
Yeah. So, I hope they've got the right guy, because that would seriously suck to be Jason.
Absolutely.
And be in prison for something you did not do.
And that's why the death penalty, you really kind of got to stay away from that for the most part, unless it's like 100% this guy did it. There's a million things. He admitted to it.
Sure. We saw it on film.
Yeah.
But in this case,
that's a whole other ballpark about death penalties and whatever.
Yeah.
But this is, wow, what a frustrating case.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
And
the fact that it was solved 20 years later, crazy.
Frustrating.
Well, yeah.
Hey, well, thank you for the story. Good job in finding all the details.
Thank you all for being here with us, and we will be back next week for another episode.
Yeah, can't wait.
Until then,
cheers. Keep on drinking that coffee. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and check us out on Patreon. So, if you want to give us a couple bucks, go ahead.
Feed our coffee addiction.
Right, we'd appreciate it.
Yes.
All right.
We will see you next time. Bye.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.